And we have reached where the author said, Fasul, section, equality between the wives. So this section is about cases of having more than one wife. He starts by saying, وَالتَّسْوِيَةُ فِي الْقَسْمِ بَيْنَ الزَّوْجَاتِ وَاجِبَةٌ. Equality in al-qasm, between the wives, is obligatory. It says here, equality in giving the wives their turn is obligatory. So the qasm. Qasm has two aspects. Giving the wives their support and giving the wives their time. Not more than those. This is the equality. So what's not included in that? Not included in that is the love itself. That's not part of the obligatory equality between the wives, loving them the same, because he doesn't have control over this. When the Prophet ﷺ was asked who's the most beloved of people to him, he said, Aisha sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He answered that question clear. He gave clear answer there. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. But you're going to be mindful, though. You're not going to be saying something like that in front of your wives or in front of your children. You're not going to be saying in front of your wives, I love her more than I love you. You're not going to be saying in front of your children, oh, you're my favorite child, in front of your other children. That's probably not a good idea. But that's what the Prophet did, alayhi salatu wassalam. Anyway, the point here is that the love, having equality in love, is not obligatory because that's not something that one controls. Also, equality in intimacy is not obligatory because that also is something depending on the man's desire. And this fluctuates and this varies between his wives. But it is sunnah to have intimacy equally. That's a sunnah if a person's able to achieve that. And it's not obligatory to be charitable to them equally. So if he were more charitable to one than the other, there's no sin. And just generally having more inclination towards one over the other, that in itself is not a sin. But the whole time, that wise Muslim who took on more than one wife, that responsible, mature Muslim who took on more than one wife, then he is going to be good to his wives, and he's going to live with them in an agreeable manner. He's going to live with them in an agreeable manner, and he's going to remember the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Istawsu bin nisa, take care of the women, etc. To the end of that hadith there. This is going to treat her well. And he's going to remember the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, khayrukum khayrukum li nisa'i. The best of you are those who are nicest to their wives. So then he's going to be nice to his wife. For example, he's not going to tell her no unless he has to, and things like that. And he's going to be mindful of her feelings and things like that. If he's man who's rough on the edges, he's still going to be nice to his wife. Yes.
Just something that I found, like, mashallah, was really nice. One of the brothers had on his phone, when his wife calls him, it comes up wasiyat Rasulullah.
Mm, MashaAllah. Yani his ringtone is
The
advice
name,
of the messenger.
the name, it says وصية رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Barakallahu fikum. Uh, yes, so then he's going to treat her well. And she is also, his wives, they are inshallah going to treat him well. Yeah, it's important. If your husband has more than one wife, if your husband has another wife, then you should really treat him well. Especially don't treat him mean. Don't feel like, yeah, and you mad at him because he got another wife. Now you're going to chase him away. So don't do that. That's okay. Here, somebody did something on his ringtone. Uh, yeah. So والتسوية في القسم بين الزوجات واجبة. Equality in qasm between the wives is obligatory. So what's the qasm? Two things: time and support. And support. The support does not mean supporting them all equally does not mean they all cost the same. But what supporting them all equally means, yani supporting them, fulfilling their rights in terms of obligatory support. That doesn't mean they all cost the same though. ولا يدخل على غير المقسوم لها لغير حاجة. One does not enter the house of the one whom it is not her turn, except for a need. لا يدخل على غير المقسوم لها لغير حاجة. He does not enter into the one that it's not her turn. He does not enter into. He does not enter into or go into, yani, to where, yani, the house of. So it says here in the translation, the house doesn't say the house in the Arabic. Just says he doesn't go in where or go into where the one that it's not her turn is, yani, her house, her apartment. لغير حاجة, without a need. It says except for a need. No, not good translation. Without a need. لغير حاجة. Ah, so okay. How did Abu Shuja describe her here? The one that it's not her turn. He called her غير المقسوم or غير المقسوم لها. غير المقسوم لها. The one that it's not her turn, meaning in the first place, if a man has more than one wife, he is not obligated to spend time with any of them. Fundamentally, why is not obligated to spend time with any of them? Because it's not obligated to go home, and he's not obligated to enter his own house or his own apartment. If a person rented an apartment, he's not obligated to go inside of there and stay there. So, based on this, Yani, what if he just wants to sleep in his car, for example, or spend some time at a brother's place, or whatever, or he just has another place. So he's not fundamentally obligated to spend time with them when he marries them. Yani, it's possible that he could marry more than one woman in one marriage contract. In one marriage contract. Like if all of them were there and all of their fathers said, we give our daughters in marriage to you for the dowry of such and such. We give these daughters of ours to you in marriage for the agreed upon dowry. And he says, I accept these daughters of yours in marriage for the agreed upon dowry. So now they're all his wives. Who's going to start with? He doesn't have to even start, is what we are saying here. He is going to provide them with homes. So, Yani, he gave each one a home, let's say. But he is not himself obligated to go inside of one of those homes. So when he wants to, then he must do a drawing, or Yani, meaning he cannot just arbitrarily decide by his preference which one he's going to start with. Either he does a drawing or he seeks the acceptance of the rest of it. Either he does a drawing or he seeks the permission. If he wants to start with one in particular, he seeks the permission of the rest of them. So then he does his drawing, for example, somehow by putting their names in a bag and then drawing their names out, or the likes of this. And the one whose name comes out first gets her turn. The one whose name comes out second gets her turn second. Like this. Until he completes his all of his rounds. So if he has 2 wives, if he has 3 wives, for example, until he completes his rounds. So that means, in other words, once he's spent time with one, he's obligated to spend time with the others. It's not permissible for him to spend time with one and then not spend time with the others. So what are we saying here? Fundamentally, he wasn't obligated to spend time with anyone from the beginning. There's not one of them that he has to start with, and he's not obligated to go into his own house or any house of his. So we are saying when he wants to start, then he has to either do a drawing, not start with the one he wants to, do a drawing, or if he wants to start with a particular one, he has to seek the permission from his other wives that they accept for him to start with her. If not, then he has to do a drawing. Now, once he does a drawing and now he has to start, he's going to start now. Once he is with one, he has to then spend time with others also, in the order in which their names came out. And what's the minimum time? And what's the maximum time? The minimum time is a day and a night. And he spends a day with one, then he spends a day with the other. If we say, for example, he has 3 wives, spends a day with one, spends a day with the other, spends a day with the other, according to how their names came out. Now, he finished his round. So now what? Now he doesn't have to be with any of them. He can fall back, for example. Go sleep in his car for a while. And when he wants to start again, then he does a drawing again. Like that. He doesn't start with the one he wants to. Okay, so 1 day and 1 night, that's minimum. What's maximum? Maximum without needing permission is 3 days and 3 nights. That's maximum without needing permission, meaning a man had more than one wife. He started with one of them. He is allowed to take up to 3 days with this one, the one he started with. So he's going to give her 1 day at least, and he could give her 2, or he could give her 3. So he can go up to 3 days without seeking the permission of his other wives. But he has to, whatever amount of time he gave to that first one, he must give it to the others. So if he did 1 day with one, he has to do 1 with the others. 2 days, let me say, 1 day with the first one, then he has to do 1 day with the others. Or 2 days with the first one, then he has to do 2 days with the others. 3 days with the first one, then he has to do 3 days with the others. And he cannot do more than 3 days without permission. If he wants permission, then he will ask for the permission to do so. Okay. So they all get their turn. That's obligatory on him. And they get their turn regardless of their circumstance, as long as they're not rebellious, which we're going to explain. If they are rebellious, according to what we're going to explain, then they lose their turn. But if they're not rebellious, then they get their turn despite any other circumstance. Like what? Like, what if she's actually crazy? His wife is crazy, literally. She's an insane woman. He's one of his wives. He's still obligated to go and spend time with her, as long as he's not afraid of her. Yeah, I mean, if she's crazy, maybe she would hurt him, for example. And even if she had some other circumstance, like she's muhrima, she's in a state of ihram for Hajj. Well, he cannot have intercourse with her while she's muhrima, but he still has to spend time with her if it's her turn. Or some other circumstance that she might have, he still has to spend time with her when it's her turn. So what is that? That's her right. What if he doesn't want to? Too bad, as they say. It's too bad. He has to. It's her right. So he's going to go take care of that. Well, he's the one who decided to marry more than one woman. So now he has to take care of his business here. Some people, they are maybe under the impression that this issue of having more than one wife, it is some male power fantasy, and that is purely motivated by sexual desire. This is not the case. Any person who has ever been involved in such a thing knows that the responsibility of that is way bigger than some sexual desire. You got to pay the bills, and you have to deal with different people's emotions, and whatever else you might have to deal with. Maybe also children. So really, this is something that's character building for the good man, for the good, responsible man. It's character building. It's going to take care of his business here. And also, when we say he has to spend time with all of his wives, you need to know that a man's day, he has to give her at least a day, right? So a man's day is split into two parts. A prime time, I'm going to use these words. A prime time and let's say it's work hours. Work hours and prime time. Usually work hours are daytime, unless you're a guard or something. Work hours is daytime. So that makes prime time nighttime. It is important to understand this because the daytime, Allah told us in the Quran, He created the daytime for livelihood. So then the man is going to be running his errands during the day. He's busy. So since he is running his errands during the day, then he might need to go into the house of the wife that is not her turn because he has responsibilities. Maybe he has to pick up his tools. Maybe he has to take some furniture in there or something. So, what's the rules here? The rule is if it's not the turn of a wife that he wants to go into her house, it's not her turn. Yani, it's not her day. And he wants to go into her house, then we look. Is it work hours or is it prime time? So if it's work hours, then he can go into the house of a wife that's not her turn for an errand. That means for something, not for nothing, not to see her, not for that reason, but for some errand he has. And so I'm using the word errand. The Arabic word is haja, need, but I'm going to say errand for some errand, like I told you. Maybe he needs to pick up his tools. Maybe he has to take some furniture in the house or something. So this is an errand. Then he just goes in there, does his errand, and he leaves. There's no sin here. And he's not intimate with her. It's not her turn. Well, what if it's the prime time? Then he cannot go into the house of the one that it's not her turn unless it's an emergency. So you have two things here, an errand and an emergency. If what he wants to do in the house of the one that is not her turn is less than an emergency, then he can only go in there during working hours and run his errand, complete his task, and leave, and not stay there for a long time. Also, and if he has no need, no errand at all, there's no errand, and it's work hours, he cannot go in her house. And if it's prime time, he cannot go in her house unless it's not just an errand, unless it's an emergency. Emergency is like a strong sickness or even a frightening sickness means you're afraid she's going to die, for example, or one of the kids are going to die. So you need to go in there. Or she has contractions, the baby's coming, so you have to run in there. Or the house is on fire, so he had to run in there, save his family fearlessly. And then these are all excuses here because those are emergencies. Any questions so far? Let me pose a question and give the answer. Does a man have to seek his wife's permission to marry another woman? The answer is no. What if she don't want him to? It's his right though. So maybe he will, maybe he won't. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was married to Khadija, who was his first wife, he never married another woman as long as he was married to her. It wasn't until after she passed away that he got more than one wife at a time. Alayhi salatu wassalam. Yes, yeah, it's part of the deal. It's already known that he can have more than one wife. Why she can't have more than one husband is very obvious. Because Yani, she gets pregnant, who's the father? And also, these men might wind up killing each other too. Not to say that the women can't be savage, though. Just making sure I'm not missing something here for you before I move on. Any question? You said, what if the husband is incarcerated with more than one wife? Does the same apply with giving his time equally? Well, I don't know how he's going to do that. I don't know what to say. I don't know the answer here. MashaAllah. Let me say something that crosses my mind. That sometimes a man wants to marry another woman, and his wife is very much opposed to it. And she would give him a big resistance here. Yani, she might even go nuclear, as they say. But just any one of you sisters who might be in such a situation, just think twice here. Because this envy and this outlash here, this out this lashing out is not probably going to be helpful for you. And if you would know probably how much your husband would appreciate it and love you so much if you actually didn't fight him here. Yani, I think he'll appreciate that a lot. Uh, Subhanallah. You might say, well, if he doesn't marry another woman, she'll appreciate it. Yeah, that's true. But what's the difference? Difference is that, and this is very important, the rights of the people. The man has rights, the woman has rights. Where you get your rights from? You get your rights from God. So God gives men rights, God gives women rights. So if somebody has a right, if your wife has a right, fulfill her right if she seeks it from you. Or if she has, uh, if something's not obligatory on her, for example, then you can't hold it against her. It's not obligatory on her. Like this is what I mean when I say that people have rights. And likewise, the man has rights. So if he has permission to do something, then he has the right to do it as a man. Or yani, if something's not obligatory on him, then he doesn't have to do it. When the people resort to the rules of the religion, then things will be easy. The rules of the religion have priority over our opinions. They have priority over our feelings. And Allah, He knows about this creation He created. He knows about these men that He created and these women that He created. Yeah, Allah, yani, and here's something for the brothers too. You would appreciate if your wife would not fight you here and you want to marry another woman. And you would say, Allah gave me the right to marry another woman. Okay, but don't also act like you don't know how Allah created the women. So then, uh, you want to marry another woman, you're gonna have to be prepared to deal with the things that go with that, like your wife giving you a hard time. Not that she should, but yani, comes with the territory, is what I'm saying. And this is something that's not special to Islam. Human beings have had more than one wife, many wives actually, since Allah knows how long. And some societies that are not Muslim societies, they would have even more than four wives. You might encounter some non-Muslim societies, a man would have 10 wives, for example. They're not Muslims. It's not something special to Islam. If he had 10 wives, he was not a Muslim, he had 10 wives and then he became a Muslim, he has to get rid of 6 of them. He cannot have 10 wives. as a Muslim. Yani, at least 6. Then you have societies also that they made it against the law for a man to have more than one wife. Then they didn't make it against the law, though, for him to have mistresses. It's not breaking the law. Or if he is, they don't do anything. Or they should have just left him so he can have more than one wife instead of having mistress. And if you get a wife, if you're yani, if you're having more than one wife, then you don't have to sneak. You don't have to lie. You're gonna yani be about your business. Subhanallah. Okay, so the author says here, وَإِذَا أَرَادَ السَّفَرَ أَقْرَعَ بَيْنَهُنْ. If one wants to travel, one who has more than one wife, if he wants to travel, he does a drawing between them. Yani, he wants to travel and not take all of his wives. So he wants to take one of them, let's say. So then he does a drawing. He doesn't choose which one goes with him. Either he leaves all of them, or he does a drawing of which one is going to go with him. With whoever name comes up, he has to take her, or he doesn't take anyone. And we're talking here, we're not talking about he's actually relocating. No, he's just traveling. He's going to out of town for a while, and then he's going to come back. أقرع بينهن. He does a drawing between them. وخرج بالتي تخرج لها القرعة. And he goes with the one whose name came out. Now there's some details there about how sometimes he would have to make up the time for his wives that he left in the town. But right now, I don't want to try to discuss those details. I was reviewing it, but I'm not going to talk about it now. Maybe if we come back to go over this again with more details, then inshallah I will address the issue with you with confidence. But what I just told you now is just the base of the case here. You have more than one wife, you want to travel, then leave all of them or do a drawing to choose which one will go with you. And then you take the one whose name came up. وَإِذَا تَزَوَّجَ جَدِيدَةً خَصَّهَا بِسَبْعِ لَيَالٍ إِنْ كَانَتْ بِكْرًا. And when he marries a new wife, he specifies her with 7 nights. If she were a virgin, meaning this new wife of his is not his first wife. He has a wife, and now he just married a new wife. So this new wife that he married, if she's virgin, then she deserves, it is her right to have a 7-night honeymoon, consecutive. She gets all those days consecutively, so to remove the shyness between them, to make their being together, uh, so she can become accustomed to being with her husband. If he says wabi thalathin in kanat thayyiba, and with 3 if she were already deflowered. Yani if his new wife is deflowered, means not virgin, then she deserves 3-night honeymoon at least. He can give her 7. If he gives her 3, then he does not have to make up any time for his other wives. If he married a virgin and gave her 7 nights in a row, which is her right, he does not have to make up time for his other wives. Yani he's going to give her 7 nights and then go back to his rotation. Then he's going to start a normal rotation after that. Uh, so, again, what's this rotation here? This rotation is responsibility. That's responsibility there. That's not, should not be something less than that. So, and if he married a woman who is deflowered, then he gives her 3 nights in a row, and he does not have to make up any of that time for any of his other wives. When her 3 nights are over, he goes to his regular rotation. But this new wife of his who is deflowered, he may give her 7 nights in a row, honeymoon, but then he would have to make up all that time for his other wives. So it means he's going to have to give 7 nights to his other wives too. Then he's going to go back to his regular rotation. Yes. Question, he has to make up all 7? Yes, he makes up all 7. If he gave his deflowered new wife 7 straight days, then he makes up 7 days for his other wives. If he gives her, the deflowered new wife, 3 straight days, he does not have to make up any time for his other wives. If he marries virgin woman, this is his new wife, then he gives her 7 straight days, and he's not obligated to make up that time for his other wives. So from here, so sometimes the brothers might marry a sister. Okay, we already said. Does he have to seek permission of his first wife to marry another wife? The answer is no. Here's another question. Does he even have to tell her? The answer is no. He doesn't have to tell her. But if he's just one, if he's a just person, then she's gonna find out. She's gonna see. She's gonna understand. Or there's another way that she might not know, and he's also still just. That's going to be if his new wife allows for him to spend his time, like, for example, a little bit of time with her, most of his time with his first wife. That's not a sin. That's not a sin. He married a woman. She told him, it's okay, stay at home with your wife. Yeah, I'll see you. So that's not a sin here, and he's not unjust. But if she did not give him such a permission, and he is a just person, then it means when he marries a new woman, if she's virgin, he has to give her 7 days. So his first wife's going to say, "Where are you?" So then she's going to know. Or uh, like that. Or he marries a new wife who has 3 days. She's deflowered woman. So then he's going to give her 3 days because he fears God. So then, even if he didn't tell his first wife, she's going to say, "Where are you?" For example. So she's going to understand. She's going to know. And then, you're a Muslim. You don't have to lie. You're afraid of your wife. And I know you don't want to have to deal with a lot of nonsense and talk and whatever, arguing, and still though. So we didn't talk about if she is rebellious. I think we can fit it in here. The author says, وَإِذَا خَافَ نُشُوزَ الْمَرْأَةِ. Now, if he or when he fears the wife's rebellion, nushuz. If you have a better word than rebellion, you can share it with me. Yani, so I'll just say rebellion. Uh, so he's afraid of that. That means not confirmed. He's afraid. Basically, he's afraid she's about to go off. Why? Because he sees the signs of that. For example, she used to smile at him. Now she doesn't smile at him. She used to give him warm welcome when he came home. Now she does not. Like this. So he sees something coming. Uh, so he's afraid she's going to go into rebellion. So what does he do? وَعَظَهَا. He advises her. He talks to her. He would say such things as, this is what the scholars mention, he would say such things as, fear Allah concerning my right over you. That's something the scholars mention. But you don't have to say those words. You really want to say something that works, right? So you got to butter her up here. So if he fears his wife's rebellion, he advises her. And when he does that, maybe she will fix her situation, or maybe she will explain herself. Maybe she was sick. Maybe a relative passed away. So he talks to her. فَإِنْ أَبَتْ إِلَّا النُّشُوزِ should be nushuz. فَإِنْ أَبَتْ إِلَّا النُّشُوزِ هَجَرَهَا. If she insists on rebellion, so means Yani she stays firm. After he talked to her, she did not change. And she doubled down here. Uh, and by the way, what's not rebellion here? What's not rebellion? If she snapped at him, she talked back at him, she talked back to him, she gave him some lip, let's say, one might say. She gave him some attitude. That's not rebellion. That's normal. Yani she disagreed with him. She didn't like something. She had some fire in her voice, for example, or in her tone. That's not in itself rebellion. But the rebellion is going to be that she runs away from him. She leaves his house without his permission, or she refuses him, such as she locks the door so that he can't get to her, or even she doesn't lock the door, she just doesn't let him. Yeah, she refuses him. So this is rebellion. Then hajaraha. Then he refuses to sleep with her. And here, when we say he refuses to sleep with her, hajaraha, he shuns her. He shuns her. This means when we say here he doesn't sleep with her, this means he's not intimate with her, but he does sleep with her in the same bed. At first, he's trying to handle this situation diplomatically. He's trying to defuse a bomb here. He's gonna not sleep with her, but in the same bed though. Yani, like for example, he sleeps in the bed, but he turns his back to her, for example. فإن أقامت عليه هجرها وضربها. Here, if she maintains it, he does not sleep with her and he hits her. So I still like the word spank. No one has really convinced me otherwise. Someone told me, nah, it sounds like childish. Don't say spank. But for me, spank it has light meaning though. That's why I like it here. Because it has a light meaning. As opposed to beat or strike. So if you want to convince me, you can. I'm open to listen here, but for me, this word's still working. So what does that mean? Spankster means, for example, use the C-wax stick. Hit her with the C-wax stick. Tap her with the C-wax stick. C-wax stick's like a pencil, for example. So it's not like how non-Muslims who hate Islam would have you believe. That what this means is he hits her with an uppercut. Uppercut, left, right, left, right. No. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. And despite that this rule is here, Yani, you find, I don't know how many Muslims are even doing this. How many Muslim men are even implementing this? I personally don't know any brothers. I mean, maybe they have. Maybe one of the brothers hit his wife with with the C-wax stick so that she will stop. And he kept that business between him and his wife. Yani, I don't know about it happening. Question. You said my phone died, but for the wife, that's deflowered. And the husband chooses to give her 7 days. He has to make up all 7 days for the other wife or wives? Yes, correct. MashaAllah. ويسقط بالنشوز ويسقط بالنشوز قسمها ونفقتها. Because of rebellion, her turn and her support are dropped. She won't get her rights back until she repents. And her rights will be reinstated at dawn. She won't get her rights back until she repents. And her rights will be reinstated at dawn. Means whenever time she repents, she still doesn't get her turn and her support until the dawn. Then it starts again. Wallahu a'lam. Allah knows best. Any question? Next stop, قد يقال الخلع. That's the next section. خلع. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك. Question. So I missed the rebellion part. Is that if the wife is rebellious in general? Uh, yeah, you mean you missed the whole part of rebellion. You didn't catch any of that talk there. What's rebellion? What's not rebellion? Well, let me come back to you. You said, question, what is the judgment on when the husband buys her something to wear and she does not wear it? She's refusing to wear it. Well, that is haram. It's obligatory on her if her husband provides her with an outfit, something he wants her to wear, some clothing he wants her to wear, uh, or the like. It would be obligatory on her to wear it. If she does not, then that's a sin. But is it rebellion? I have not heard. He cannot force her to wear her own clothing. He cannot demand of her to enter her own house. That's important. Any brother who wants to have full authority in terms of his rights as a husband, then let him provide the home for his wife. because he cannot dictate to her entering or leaving her own house. And he cannot dictate who stays in her house. He has no dominion over her property. So then, if he wants like that, then he gets a place for her and he says, "Come here, I have a place for you. Come." Then it will be obligatory on her if that's a befitting place. Yeah, what did I forget to mention here? I knew there was something. And he is not allowed to house his wives in one house without their acceptance because they're going to fight likely. So he keeps them separated. Each one has a right to her own place, just like each one has a right to her own clothing. Is he allowed to make them share clothing? No, he cannot make them share clothing. Like he cannot make them share clothing, he cannot make them share a house. When we say he cannot make them share a house, this means when all of the commodities of the house are the same, meaning one kitchen, one bathroom, for example, one living room, one dining room, like this, one entrance, one exit, one fire escape. When it's like this, then he cannot make them stay in the same place. But if it's, for example, like one house that has two apartments, like a duplex, it's from the outside you see it as a house, like one house, but has actually two doors that lead to two different apartments. Here, this is valid. Uh, Also, you cannot make your wife stay with your mother. You cannot make her stay with your mother. If she does not accept, then you give her her own place. Also, if you had a wife and a slave woman, you cannot make them stay in the same place too. Wallahu a'lam. Allah knows best. Barakallahu fikum. Any last questions? So can the husband demand his wife to change her hair texture by perming the hair? I never heard about this. There's this question about what is the rebellion. So the rebellion is, for example, for her to run away from him or to lock the door on him so that he cannot get to her, or to just refuse him, even if, without running away, without locking him out, but just to not let him. All of that is rebellion. What's not rebellion, if she snaps at him, like she raised her voice at him, or she said something that silences him, for example. That one happens sometimes too, right? Yeah. Like so many times the brothers are like, "Oh man, I told her this, I told her that," like you refuting the woman. There's times too she's gonna shut your mouth, make you shut your mouth. You don't know what to say. So this is not new shoes. Question: is it true that it is sunnah or better to marry only one? Not as a broad statement. Good question here. We're not. What we learned is we don't say uh, it is sunnah to marry only one, and we also don't say it is sunnah to have more than one wife. We don't say either of those in that way. Rather, the one who cannot justly handle more than one wife, then let him marry one. Like, just as an advice for the brothers, for example, if you got to lie and sneak and all that stuff, yeah, then maybe you're not in the position, really position to do that. Maybe. Uh, and we're not going to say it's not sunnah to have more than one wife because the Prophet had more than one wife. The caliphs, the guided caliphs, had more than one wife. Other prophets like Sulaiman alayhi salatu wassalam. Well, I don't know how many wives did he have versus slave women he might have had. I don't know. Yaqub had more than one wife. MashaAllah.
What is just and what is if you have a lot?
What does just mean?
Yeah, what is just? How to be just? Like
The way to be
now,
just. Yeah, go
mhm.
ahead.
Nowadays there's extra things that's being done, and like luxury car, luxury house for a woman, spending more and over on one woman. Is that something just
It
that
is
he has to
permissible.
do?
Okay, just means, in the first place, being just means fulfilling the rights of the others and not violating the others' rights. What's the right of the man? The husband has rights and the wife has rights. What's the man's right? The man's right includes that his wife does not prevent him from enjoying her when it's lawful for him to do so, and that she does not leave his place without his permission, and that she does not allow into his place whom he does not accept, and that she does not fast an optional fasting while he's in town without his permission, and that she would wear whatever he provides for her and requests her to wear. She would wear it if he provided it for her and requested of her to wear it. It's obligatory. And she protects herself from smells, odors that prevents him from enjoying her. These are the rights of the husband. I don't know if I missed something. Possibly I missed something there. What are the rights of the wife? Yani, what must the husband do for his wife? He must provide for her lodging and food and clothing, according to details. Now I'm just running it quickly. Lodging, clothing, food, those three main things. You could say four things: lodging, one; clothing, two; food, three; and some miscellaneous things, number four. Yani some things, a few more things, like a mat to sleep on, a sheet in the summer, a blanket in the winter, a pillow, and some other things. So she has rights and he has rights. If he fulfills her rights, he provided her with lodging, he provided her with food, he provided her with clothing, and anything else he's obligated to provide for her or do for her, then he has fulfilled his rights. He is just. if she does not prevent him from enjoying her, and she does not leave his place without his permission, etc., etc., then she is just and she is fulfilling her husband's rights. As for gift giving and being charitable, if he has more than one wife, it's permissible for him to be charitable to one wife and not charitable to the other. What's not permissible is to support one and not support the other. That's not permissible, but it is permissible, so it's not unjust to be charitable to one and not charitable to the other.
What do you mean by that?
Means he provided, let's say he has two wives. He provided both of them with a lodging. He provided both of them with obligatory clothing. He provided both of them with all the obligatory food. But one of them, he is head over heels in love with her, crazy about her more than the other. He gives her flowers, he gives her jewelry, he gives her cash money, and he does not do that for the other one. There's no sin here. You can follow up if you want to. She's not obligated to work for him. Period school. She doesn't have to cook for him. She doesn't have to clean for him. She doesn't even have to take care of his children that she gave birth to. That's Shafi'i school. She could literally, once the baby comes out, she could literally just give him the baby, say, here's your baby. Question. What is the judgment on refusing the wife? Good question. There's no sin here. Is there a rule on time or time on this issue, and would he be sinful? No, there's no sin here if he is not intimate with his wife, but it's not sunnah because that's harmful. But it's not. It's not her right. The sexual intercourse is not an obligatory right. Not an obligatory right. The 1 second, please. So for her not to refuse him, that's the sexual intercourse is obligatory. But and someone asked me a question in this realm recently. To be technical, she's not obligated to actively do anything. Technically, she just doesn't stop him from doing something that's not haram. She just doesn't stop him from doing something that's not haram. But she doesn't have to actually actively do something, just so that you know your rights. Don't tell her, you don't do such and such. She doesn't have to.
Right?
Yes.
She's not obligated for him or for the whole family.
Can you repeat, please?
You said she is not obligated to cook for him.
Yes.
Isn't it for the whole family?
Yeah, she doesn't have to cook. She doesn't have to cook anything.
Yeah.
Is this according to Imam Shafi?
Yeah, this is Shafi'i school.
Okay.
Including her. He has to provide her with something
Yeah,
cooked.
he's the one who's going to be cooking. He's the one who's obligated to provide her with food and not raw.
Barakallah fikum. I just want to
Yes. Yeah, it's the other way. He's the one who has to provide her with food, and he doesn't give it to her raw. So then she doesn't have to do any cooking here.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I was asking the other day about if a woman with her husband and for years. Now he can't perform no more. He got
Yes.
older. Is that all right for her to want divorce?
No, not if they have had intercourse even one time. If they had intercourse one time, then she could never breach the marriage contract for lack of intimacy or for impotency. If they had intercourse one time, she cannot breach the marriage contract for impotency under the guise of impotency. Impotency.
Is that for vice versa for her too?
What? Yeah, it's not the same issue though for her. Only thing that's going to be an issue on her in that realm is if her vagina is sealed by flesh or bone. If her vagina is sealed by flesh or bone, then he won't be able to be intimate with her. So then he could get the marriage contract breached. And actually, you reminded me, what if his wife, if her vagina is sealed by flesh or bone and it's her turn? He still has to give her turn. That's what I was saying. Even despite any circumstances, other than that she's rebellious, he has to give her turn.
Thanks, Shay. I'll make sure I tell him that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Question. I've heard some imply she has to listen to the husband if he orders her to cook. Is this true? No, it's not true.
I
I'm
heard that
talking
in,
about Shafi'i school. Shafi'i school.
yeah, according to Hanafi, I think that's what
Maybe.
I heard.
Now I'm only going according to Shafi'i school. I have no answers. In this session here, I have no answers for Hanafi school. In Shafi'i school, she does not have to do anything except the things that I told you. She doesn't prevent him from enjoying her when it's permissible for him to do so. She does not leave his house without his permission. She does not allow into his house whom he does not accept. He wears what she asks, what she wears, what he requests of her to wear if he provided that for her. And she does not, and she protects, or yani, she clears herself of smells that prevent him from enjoying her.
I'm still not convinced about the man don't have to sleep with the woman, and the woman cannot ask for a divorce for that reason.
Yeah, that's the case though. Because the sexual intercourse is the right of the man. That's just like the woman is not obligated to support her husband. Is the woman obligated to support her husband? Does she have to provide him with house and clothing and food? No. Same thing. It's like that. The sexual intercourse is the right of whom? It's the right of the man. Support is the right of whom? It's the right of the woman. Yani, the scholars, they said, for example, why the man can tell his wife she cannot leave? Because out of his house, she cannot leave his house because he supports her. His supporting her gives him the authority to detain her in his house and to enjoy her body if he wants to. She does not support him, so it's not the same thing. So she does not support him, so she's not going to say, for example, no, if you're not intimate with me, then I'm not going to provide a place for you, or like this. It's not the same rights back and forth. The man has his rights and his role. The woman has her rights and her role. Then things will go smoothly. So this is what I know. This is the case. Even if I didn't convince you, it is the case.
Yeah, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave both man and woman desires,
Yes.
and both man and woman fall into zina.
Yes.
And the only way
Yeah,
to
that's why it's not
protect
sunnah.
yourself is to get married.
That's true. That's why it's not sunnah for him not to be intimate with her. It's not sunnah. It's not sunnah, but it's not obligatory.
So how a woman can be protected from her desires and from falling into zina?
Well, if her case is like this, maybe she's going to talk to him and say, I need intimacy. You're not providing that for me. Perhaps maybe I'm not the woman for you, and maybe I need to go another way in my life. So, but let me tell you this though: when you get married, you need to get married with knowledge, which means you know what the rules are in the first place. So, uh, get married knowing that the sexual intercourse is the man's right, not the woman's right. Obligatory right, I'm talking about here. Some rights are sunnah, not obligatory. You might call it a right, a haq. You might call something a haq with that's not though wajib. Might take the word haq, right, when it's not wajib, then it's going to be sunnah. So it is sunnah for the man to be intimate with his wife, sunnah for him not to leave her with for more than 4 nights. Sunnah for him not to leave her for more than 4 nights. But it's not obligatory. If he does not have intercourse with her, he is not sinful. So that's what I know. This is the case. If you were to research the Shafi'i school, you will find what I'm saying to you is accurate. So she might need to be patient. Just like he might need to be patient also sometimes. If Allah doesn't make a way for a woman, she has to be patient. Then that's going to be one of her tests in life, that this is her case.
Maybe it is the next topic. If she has option to do khula in this.
Yeah, khula, for example, she can offer to get out by payment.
Okay, go ahead.
For example, yes. Question. Is preventing him from enjoying her, like if she asks him to wait until after the prayer time, for example, if he agrees but is disappointed, is this nushuz? I have not heard about this case. But all that I do know is not nushuz when they are like playing with each other and flirting. For example, she's flirting, acting like she's not gonna let him, but it's not really the case. They're only playing. This is not nushuz. Yani, she's only playing hard to get, but really she's not going to turn him down. This is not nushuz. And also, the scholar said, I'm mentioning for you because I learned it. The scholar said, if he is big, so does not, it's not easy for her. So that means, like, for example, she moves away. Yeah, she moves away. So that's not nushuz. Can the wife hold off on intimacy if she has not received her dowry? Yes, as long as there's conditions here. Not absolutely. If the entire dowry is due, it's not due in installments. The whole thing is due. And it's not due later. Yani, it's due. It's not due yet. It is due. Excuse me. And she never gave in to him yet. Yani, she did not submit herself to him yet. Yani, if she allows him to have intercourse with her one time, she cannot refuse him after that. But if her entire dowry is due now and she has not yet had intercourse with him, then she can refuse him until he gives her dowry.
Regarding the iddah,
Okay.
if a woman enters her period and either the man divorces her in this time or she divorces herself in this time, is this period counted towards her iddah?
Which period? Is what period counted towards her iddah?
She's in her period, her haid.
Okay. Okay. MashaAllah.
She's in haid, and she just got her haid. It's like her 2 or 3rd day, and either the man divorces her or she divorces herself. Is this haid count as her first iddah?
Okay, so several things here. Number one, to firstly directly answer your question, she got out of her marriage while she's on her menstrual period. This menstrual period is not counted as part of her iddah. But,
Okay.
but, that's if we're going to use the word iddah. The iddah, the menstrual period is not counted as part of her iddah. So her iddah is going to start when her period goes off. But she is waiting, though. She did start waiting. So we can use another word, which is that she has more tarabbus. Tarabbus. Tarabbus means waiting. So if she got divorced in her period, then zamanu tarabbus is that. The time of waiting is longer. But her iddah, I'm going to call it a countdown. Her iddah, the countdown doesn't start until her period goes off. That's clear for you?
Yes, is this according to all the madhab?
I don't know. But there's another thing I want to clarify for you. She cannot divorce herself. So that can't happen. Rather, either he's going to divorce her, or they can do khula, but he's still divorcing her for payment. Or
Your voice was cutting. She cannot what?
she cannot divorce herself.
Well, according to the Hanafi school, if she had the
Not going according to Hanafi school here. I'm going according to Shafi'i school.
Oh, okay.
Not
No.
going according to any madhab here, but Shafi'i school.
Okay. Yes, Shafi, of course, there is no contract that the woman can divorce herself. This is according to the Hanafi school.
Yes.
Sheikh,
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
What's the judgment on if the wife and the husband follow two different schools?
Whatever school they got married according to.
Okay.
You said, I never heard such a thing that a lady can divorce herself, marry herself. Yeah, the Hanafi school has a provision. If the woman mentions it in her marriage contract that she could divorce herself. But it's not going to be valid if she says to her husband, you're divorced. That's not valid in the Hanafi school. If she could divorce herself, she doesn't say, you're divorced to her husband. That's not valid. She would say, I divorced myself. As long as that's valid. But we're not going to talk about Hanafi school here. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Sheikh. I've heard that she can put it in the marriage contract that if, her husband does so-and-so, or if a condition, that she has the right to leave, not actually divorce herself. She has a right for a contract to break up. But it's not, is that called a divorce? That's a question.
Well, that's not a divorce. And she has a right to leave. No. Where has the right? Where's she going to go? Back to her parents' house? Or just get her own house? Then when he calls her back, then what? Now she left. Now come right back now. So what's she going to do?
No,
that one doesn't work.
I meant that she's got the right under a judge to give her a khulu.
Then if it's under a judge, if under a judge doesn't need to be in the marriage contract. If there's something that can be enacted by the judge, then it doesn't need to be mentioned in the marriage contract. But you're saying that you heard that she can put it in the marriage contract. So it's this thing here
in the marriage contract.
Maybe some conditions. Not every condition is valid. For example, it's not valid for her to say under the condition that you don't get another wife. That's not a valid condition.
Or if you do get another wife, I would like to be free because that's part of the condition in the marriage contract.
That's nothing.
Okay. Barakallah.
Ameen wa feek.